Napoleon Bonaparte was born in 1769 on a small island called Corsica. His hometown was a place with strong traditions and proud people. His family was noble, but they were not rich. They had to work hard to live a good life. Napoleon's mother, Letizia, was very strong and smart. She raised her children with love, but also with strict rules. She believed that discipline and education were very important. Napoleon learned many lessons from her. From a young age, Napoleon was different from other children. He liked to be alone and think. He was quiet, but he watched everything around him. He liked reading more than playing. He read books about great leaders from history. He learned about Julius Caesar, Alexander the Great, and many more. He liked to imagine what it would be like to lead an army, win battles, and become a hero. At the age of 9, Napoleon's life changed. His father sent him to a military school in France. This school was far away from his home. He had to travel across the sea, leave his family, and live in a new place with new people. Life in France was not easy for him. He had a Corsican accent when he spoke French, and the other boys laughed at him. He was also smaller than most of them. He felt lonely and homesick. But Napoleon did not give up. He worked very hard. He spent many hours reading, studying, and learning. He studied subjects like math, geography, and history. He knew these subjects would help him in the future. He dreamed of becoming a great soldier. In his free time, he used toy soldiers to make small battle scenes. He would pretend to be a general giving orders. He even wrote battle plans in his notebooks. His imagination was very strong, and he believed in his dream. After a few years, Napoleon moved to a more advanced military school in Paris called École Militaire. He was only 15 years old, but he was very serious about his studies. He focused on artillery, strategy, and engineering. These were important subjects for a future military leader. He learned fast and always tried his best. His teachers saw that he was talented and disciplined. Sadly, during this time, his father died. The family had less money, and life became harder. Because of this, Napoleon had to finish school quickly. He did not complain. He knew he had to help his family. At the age of 16, he graduated and became a second lieutenant in the French army. He was still a teenager, but he had already achieved so much. Many people looked at Napoleon and saw a small, quiet boy from a small island. But inside, he had a big dream. He wanted to make history. He wanted to serve his country. He wanted to lead. He believed that with hard work, anything was possible. Even when people laughed at him or ignored him, he stayed focused. He knew who he wanted to become. His story teaches us something important. It shows that dreams can start small, but they can grow big. It shows that even when life is hard, you can keep going. Napoleon did not have many friends. He did not come from a rich family. But he had a dream, and he worked for it. Every book he read, every problem he solved, every lonely night he spent studying, these were the steps that took him closer to his goal. Napoleon's early life is not just a history story. It is a message of hope. It tells us that anyone, no matter where they come from, can dream big. And with effort, belief, and courage, they can turn that dream into something real. In 1789, a big change began in France. This change was called the French Revolution. People were unhappy with the king. They wanted freedom and a better life. Many parts of the country were in chaos. For young Napoleon Bonaparte, this was the perfect time to show his skills and rise in his career. In 1793, Napoleon was sent to the city of Toulon. The city was under the control of people who wanted the king to return. These people had help from the British Navy. Napoleon was still young, but he came up with a smart plan. He used his knowledge of artillery to help the French army win the battle. His ideas worked very well. Toulon was taken back and many people were impressed. Because of his success, Napoleon was promoted. He became a brigadier general at only 24 years old. After this, he received a new mission. In 1796, he was made the leader of the French army in Italy. At that time, the army was weak, tired, and hungry. The soldiers did not have much hope, but Napoleon believed in them. He gave speeches full of energy. He promised them food, victory, and honor. The soldiers began to believe in him. He became like a brother to them, not just a commander. In Italy, Napoleon showed that he was not only smart but also fast and brave. He moved quickly. He attacked the enemy in surprising ways. He won many battles, like the Battle of Lodi and the Battle of Arcole. These victories made him famous. Newspapers in France started writing about him. People called him a hero. Some said he was the future of France. But Napoleon was more than just a soldier. He was also interested in learning and ideas. In 1798, he led an expedition to Egypt. The goal was to stop Britain from growing stronger in that part of the world. But Napoleon also brought scientists, writers, and artists with him. He wanted to study Egypt's history, culture, and nature. He helped build roads, made new laws, and started schools. He even brought a printing press to Egypt. Napoleon wanted not only to win wars, but also to build a better society. During this time, Napoleon met a woman named Josephine. She was a widow and had 2 children. She was smart and beautiful. She had many important friends in Paris. Napoleon and Josephine fell in love and got married in 1796. Their love was strong at first, but it was also difficult. Napoleon had to travel often for war. They wrote letters to each other, but being far apart made things hard. Still, Josephine helped Napoleon become more known in French society. Her connections were very useful to his career. Back in France, the government was weak and confused. There were many leaders, but no one strong enough to make big decisions. People were tired of problems. In 1799, Napoleon came back from Egypt. He joined with others in the army and government to take control. This was called a coup. It was fast and peaceful. After the coup, Napoleon became first consul of France. That meant he was the most powerful man in the country. As first consul, Napoleon worked to improve life in France. He created a national bank to help the economy. He built better schools to help children learn. He made new rules for taxes so things would be more fair. He wanted jobs to go to people with talent, not just people with money or family names. Napoleon believed in order, discipline, and progress. He was not a king, but people saw him as a strong leader. He was young, smart, and full of ideas. He gave people hope after years of fear and fighting. He showed that one person with vision and action could change a country. Napoleon's journey from a soldier to a superstar was not easy. He faced problems, made mistakes, and had many enemies, but he never gave up. He worked hard, believed in himself, and always looked for the next step forward. His story teaches us that with courage and effort, a person can rise from simple beginnings and become someone who leads and inspires millions. In 1804, Napoleon Bonaparte made a very bold decision. He decided to become the Emperor of France. The ceremony took place in Paris, inside the great Notre Dame Cathedral. Many important people came to watch. Even the Pope came from Rome to be part of the event. But Napoleon surprised everyone. Instead of letting the Pope crown him, Napoleon took the crown and placed it on his own head. This showed that his power came from himself, not from the church or tradition. He wanted people to understand that he was a man of action and strength. As emperor, Napoleon made many big changes in France. He created the Napoleonic Code. This was a new system of laws that helped people live more fairly. It gave people more rights and protected their property. It also made laws the same for everyone, no matter if they were rich or poor. This code became one of his greatest achievements, and even today, some countries still use parts of it. Napoleon also worked to improve life in France. He built new roads, bridges, and schools. He supported science and art. He helped make France stronger, smarter, and more modern. Many people in France admired him. They believed he was building a better future for their children. His empire grew bigger and stronger. He controlled many countries in Europe. At one point, it seemed like no one could stop him. But Napoleon also made mistakes. In 1812, he made a very dangerous choice. He decided to invade Russia. He brought more than 600,000 soldiers with him. At first, things looked good, but as the army moved deeper into Russia, problems began. The Russian army kept moving back. They burned villages and food so the French could not use them. When winter came, it was very cold. The French soldiers had no food and no shelter. Many died from the cold and hunger. Only a small number of them returned to France. It was a terrible loss. The Russian campaign was a disaster. After this, Napoleon's enemies joined together. They formed a powerful group called the Sixth Coalition. In 1814, they entered Paris. Napoleon had no choice. He gave up his crown and was sent away to a small island called Elba. But he did not stay there long. In 1815, he escaped and returned to France. Many people still loved him. They welcomed him back. This time became known as the 100 Days. However, the other countries in Europe were afraid. They did not want Napoleon to be powerful again. They joined together and prepared for war. In June 1815, Napoleon fought his last battle at a place called Waterloo. It was a hard battle, but in the end, Napoleon lost. He was captured and sent far away to another island, St. Helena. This island was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. It was quiet and lonely. Napoleon would never leave this place. On St. Helena, Napoleon spent his last years thinking and writing. He talked to the few people around him. He told stories about his life, his battles, and his dreams. He also felt regret about some of his choices. On May 5th, 1821, Napoleon died. He was 51 years old. Even though he died far from home, Napoleon's story did not end there. People still talk about him today. His life was full of great victories and great failures. He changed the way people think about leadership, war, and law. His Napoleonic Code influenced many countries. His military ideas are still studied in schools. Some people see him as a hero. Others see him as someone who wanted too much power. But no one can deny that he changed history. Napoleon's life teaches us many lessons. He showed that a person with a strong dream can go very far. He showed that hard work, courage, and belief can open many doors. But he also showed us the dangers of too much ambition. In the end, Napoleon was a man who dreamed big, rose high, fell hard, and left a story the world will never forget. Now that you have listened to the full story of Napoleon Bonaparte, let's take a moment to look back. Napoleon was not born rich or powerful. He was just a small boy from a small island. He was quiet, different, and often lonely. But he had a dream. He wanted to become a great leader. He worked hard. He studied every day. He never gave up, even when people laughed at him or said he would fail. As a young soldier, he showed courage and intelligence. He inspired others and quickly rose through the ranks. He became a general, then a hero, and finally, the Emperor of France. He changed the way laws worked. He helped build roads, schools, and better systems. People loved him. He gave hope to his country. But Napoleon also made mistakes. He wanted too much. He tried to control too many countries. His decision to invade Russia was one of his biggest failures. Many people died, and he lost the trust of Europe. In the end, he was defeated and sent far away. He spent his last days alone thinking about his past. Even with his mistakes, Napoleon left a big mark on the world. His Napoleonic Code still shapes laws today. His ideas about leadership, strategy, and education continue to inspire. He was not perfect, but he was passionate and brave. His story teaches us that even one person can change history. So what can we learn from Napoleon's life? First, always believe in yourself, even when others do not. Second, never stop learning. Knowledge gives you power. Third, be careful with ambition. Wanting to grow is good, but wanting too much can lead to a fall. Balance your dreams with kindness and wisdom. In today's world, we all have challenges. Maybe you are learning English and feel it is difficult. Maybe you are far from your goals. But remember Napoleon's story. If you keep going, keep learning, and keep believing, you can achieve great things too. Congratulations! You have just improved your English by listening to and understanding a full story in English. That's a big achievement. Be proud of yourself. And now here's a small quiz to test your memory. What was one of Napoleon's biggest mistakes? A. Invading Russia. B. Building new schools in France. Type your answer in the comments, A or B. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe to the channel. Your support gives us the motivation to make more great content to help you learn English. We also invite you to donate if you can. In the beginning, it's not easy for us to create high-quality lessons for free. Every small donation helps us continue our work to support learners like you. Thank you for learning with us. See you in the next story.